Alright everybody, we're going to do another video here with the old 7.3. Today we're going to be removing this bed. And I'm probably going to need some help. Probably going to need a few friends to come over to help me do this. With an extra hurdle, we have to get these stacks off. It's something you don't see a lot of people having to do when they take these beds off. I mean, these bolts, the bed bolts themselves, they don't look too bad. I've seen everybody has to cut them off. I'm going to see if we might be able to get away with not doing that. And yeah, I mean, everything else is pretty standard. Got to get this off of here. Got to get the little I can't see it from here. I can get a better video of that later. But yeah, I'm not going to go over everything right now. But yeah, so we're going to start with removing these stacks and then seeing about getting these bed bolts off and go from there. So after that, we're doing this for a few reasons. One, I want to get to the tanks, replace some stuff in the tanks, sending units, stuff like that. And then we're going to be putting an e-fuel system up here, obviously, in there. And that's for another video. So if you are interested in seeing that, or interested in this truck, please like and subscribe, because we're going to have a lot of videos on this truck. But for now, let's get to taking that bed off. Okay, if anyone's curious, I'm not going to point out any names, but someone wrapped a bunch of rope around this because someone was trying to mount something to the pipe, because they didn't realize these get hot, I guess, for whatever reason. But that's why that looks the way. We're going to take these pipes off and have them re-chromed, because they are pretty ugly. So yeah, I'm going to have to take this off here. I'm hoping that just taking off this mounting piece right here will be able to take this whole thing off. These are also bolted to the bed. So yeah, so hopefully this will be easier than it can be, I guess. So let's get to that. Other than the mounts up top, it looks like these two little bolts hold it in, and I should take these off and then I should be able to pull them up. Okay, getting stacks off is pretty easy. Couple bolts on each side of the bed. Take those off. Just that one bracket here, and then there was a bracket down in there that was kind of holding it on that I showed you. Ran those down, pulled the bracket down enough, and then pulled the stacks up, and there she goes. We've got to take this plate off because bed bolt's like right here, so gotta get this off now. Also, in case you were wondering why I put a towel over the pipe, I just don't want to drop anything into the exhaust for sake of having to tear it all apart to get like a bolt out or something. I just wanted to protect it. I'm going to take it off later. It's still perfectly drivable the way it is. Just kind of mess around on here. It's kind of dirty, as you can see, a bunch of crap in here. I do not want to get in the exhaust, so that is the reason for that. Alright, so much like you've seen on every other YouTube video that does this, we're going to have to cut these bolts out. That's because they spin in place because of the head on the bolt. So I'll probably do that tomorrow, because I don't really feel like much doing it today. I don't feel like getting everything out. It's kind of, I know it looks bright, but it's getting late in the day. So next we're just going to show you, we're just going to get to everything else. Disconnect these lights. I did it on this side, so I'll just show you guys over here if you don't know. Alright, let's see if I can do this with one hand. If you've never taken a light out of a vehicle before, you know, you have to turn it. So let's see if we can do this with one hand. Yeah, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and it will pop right out. That's why you don't do it with one hand. And look at what you find. An old bag of corn nuts. Why was that in there? Was it there for me to find? What year is this from? Lights. Only thing holding them in, this little tab right here, that hole right there, panel poppers. Pop it out, drop it down. Alright, so we're here under the truck trying to figure out which wires we need to get off the bed. I've already removed the spare. I didn't film that because I think they designed it to kill you. Probably find another video of that on YouTube, but it's just a brace that goes across. You have to lower it down and line it up. Anyway, we're gonna get a panel popper, push these down. These are the lights here, so just gonna run them through there. Same way over here, run them through, pull them down the middle so that they're completely off of the bed of the truck. And yeah, we got some aftermarket stuff. I don't know, I didn't do any of the work on this truck. I didn't put the stacks on it. I didn't put any of these reverse camera and all this extra trailer stuff he's got on here. So I'm trying to figure it out. Your truck might not have the same stuff, so keep that in mind. Alright, so what I ended up doing was taking the lights, wiring it, and running it all the way, like the passenger side, running it all the way through the driver side, and then wrapping it around here. And I kind of have it mocked up, zip tied on the receiver piece here. I did that because of these wires. This is for the reverse camera on here. They spliced their wires in on this light. Sorry, I'm really congested. I can hear myself. My own voice sounds ridiculous right now. They ran it under this piece, this little bracket right here. So I couldn't run it past that way or without either cutting these wires or disconnecting their splices. So that's why I ran it that way. That way I didn't actually have to run it, or I could run it through there and it would fit. I had to disconnect these two sensors. Not even sure where they go, what they do. Haven't really traced it, but I think we'll be fine. So yeah. So the next step is to cut the bolts and then just disconnect the tanks right there. We should be good. Alright, so on your fuel, what do they call these? Fuel funnel necks, or whatever they're called. You have a bracket right there that's on the bed, and there is a hose clamp that goes around it. So you got to remove this hose clamp, and then the 3 screws right there to get that off the bed. Other than that, I am gonna just have to search around and see if anything else is connected. So we'll go from there. Alright, so zip those 3 bolts out here, hold them, and you can see once we move that hose, like I showed you before, right there, I just slid it off the little bracket on the bed. I just slid it forward so that it's freed. And crap, got no room to move. So now I can move freely. And yeah, that's it. So now I have to wait till I get some friends to come over and help me move this thing. So we'll be back then. Alright guys, well that pretty much wraps this up. So I pretty much showed you all the steps. You know, there's 6 bolts go into the frame. You have to make sure to get all your wires and lights and everything off the back of the truck. I covered this up just at the time because I didn't want dirt and branches and stuff that was in the bed to fall in there. That was because the stacks. That's probably an issue you will not have. I did kind of forget when we started taking this off to take these fuel caps off. So if you saw, I kind of scrambled to get those off really quick because I kind of forgot. You actually can lift it without taking them off, but it's recommended that you, alright ESPN, anyway, it's recommended you take it off so it doesn't catch. Makes it a little bit easier. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. So next thing we'll be doing is we're putting a transmission. I'm not putting a transmission. I'm actually sending that out to a shop to have them do it. We're going to put an ATS stage 1 transmission in it, and then after that we're going to work on the fuel. So we're going to replace these sending units and change the selector valve. Also, we're going to put Marty's fuel system on it. So I'm going to make some videos of that for sure. So subscribe and like for that, because I'm definitely getting to that once this gets all done with the transmission and stuff. So yeah, that concludes this one, guys. I appreciate you watching, and till next time.